And thank you, Coach. We are across the Hudson from Midtown Manhattan at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants. Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
A first carry from the Clemson man, Wayne Gallman. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Deron Payne, the big D tackle there to make the stop.
Run to the ball. We got a runner. Good breakup, baby. Good breakup. All day, baby. Good breakup. It's going to be a long day. No. Check. Patriot. Patriot. Tight on the right. Tight on the right. Watch you now, Barney.
Second down. McNabb. Over the middle, he's got his tight end Ingram. They showed off a nice juke of the defender before the next wave could bring him down. The reception good for 7. It's third down. An early test, 2 plays in. This is 3rd and 2.
Tight into the right, boy. Tight into the right. Move. Back nine.
They go play action. It's McNabb. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. And 5 yards on the play there as the drive will continue.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
On first down, it's McNabb. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. It'll be a gain of 8 yards, and it'll make it second down.
I'm not sure that this play was designed for him specifically, but they got through the progressions and got the ball to him. So, second catch on the drive. He may not be a primary guy, but they definitely want him involved, don't they?
Absolutely. This early, the opening drive, as you said, 2 catches. So if they can get him going in the passing game, it should open up his running game, too. Yeah, they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. In Washington territory now. Here's first and 10 at the 44-yard line.
Hey, we got
Now Gallman. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback.
Check, Patriot!
And no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
53's the mic. 53. Check 53. No. Check. Patriot! Patriot! Watch twist.
To throw on second, McNabb. To Shepard, complete over the middle. And he's taken down inside the 30. His first catch there, good for 10 yards and a first down.
Okay, I'm not so great at math, but I just looked over at our statistician, Marvin, and he signaled to me 5 for 5 to get things started here on this opening drive. Where I come from, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Now, what do you do defensively to adjust?
Well, this is where you've got to make a decision as your defensive coordinator. Do you really get after the quarterback, or maybe you tighten down on the receivers, bump them off of their routes, chip away at their timing so things aren't as precise as they've been so far in this game.
23 yards on the play.
His passing's been on point on this drive, hasn't it? Been very accurate, gotten the ball downfield, gained nice chunks of yardage. But now, in this situation, the field is really condensed, partner. So if he's going to throw the football, it has to be pinpointed.
I was happy about that. Field shrinks, has to be sharper, but it's been a good opening drive so far.
Now they just want to see if they can cap it off with the bell ringer and put it in the end zone. Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to revert and fire out and create some space in the run game?
They'll try to pen it in with Goldman. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up third down.
Watch it now, Barney.
Driven it down the field nicely here on the opening drive, but now it's put up or shut up.
No doubt about it, because to make that type of a drive and ultimately kick a field goal would feel very disappointing. But I'm just wondering, is the head coach thinking, is this 4-down territory? Might go for it.
And he finds Shepard. Touchdown, Giants. Sterling Shepard, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Giants take it right down and score on the opening drive. And we'll see if this rain affects the team's decisions going forward, but they kick it here, and it's good. A first update now from Cincinnati, and it's the Ravens that have moved out to an early advantage. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
Eagle. Strong left. We got Alpha.
Vic operating on first down. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by Janoris Jenkins. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Detroit!
3 down. Hey!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Detroit! All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
I got motion.
Now a first down throw, McNabb. He completes it to Tate. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you go lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Eluding the pressure right. He's got it, and he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. He had the touchdown on the opening drive. Now he's got a first down.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Check. Hey, you got to get moving, man. Man, moving.
Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Giants with a football here as we begin quarter number 2, and they've got it here with a first down.
Alert 3. Mike 50.
This is Garland, and he is in. Touchdown, New York. A great effort there. His first touchdown on the year. And the Giants are able to grow their lead. A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good, and that'll make the score 14-0. Rosas now to kick this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board.
Hey, let's go.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Mike 51.
On the handoff, it's Geis. And he'll take it forward for about 5 up to the 28-yard line.
Check.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid game. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Eagle. Orange. Wait, take it.
3rd and short yardage, Vic. And he fires one, but incomplete.
Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. And in their own territory, needing only a few inches, they're going to line up to go for this thing on 4th down.
Hey. 4 down. Alpha. Orange.
They will indeed go for it. Vic, he rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 28. And this one will be brought back to the 22.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
Here we go now.
Here's Coleman. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. And the tackle there will go to Ryan Anderson. You mentioned very early on the need to establish a running game for this young QB. They really haven't been able to do that, though, in the first half.
So that means what in halftime? Adjustments time, right? Figure out what they are, figure out the things that they really want to accomplish, and who to run behind. Which are your better blockers? Find those guys and get in that direction.
And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. The turnover put them in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. McNabb looking for his receiver sharp, and it's intercepted. Reuben Foster picks it. And he'll get this back to the 32-yard line. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you put in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job. Finding ways to take the ball away from the other team.
Base flag 2. Double up. Under 10. Under 10. 10. Salt. Motion. Orange.
So here's Vic following the interception. And lucky to get away with one there. That one nearly picked. Second down.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job here to force an incompletion.
He's going to fire this thing deep right. Oh, wide open, complete. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. A gain of 32 that time. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for first and 10.
Mike 51. Let's go, D. Let's go. Hey, I need one over here.
Black over.
Let's go.
Salt.
Vic will look to throw on first down. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Richardson. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
Partner, this is one of the best routes anyone can have in their offensive playbook. Tough to defend because you think it's a go route, and then he breaks it back on the comeback. But there's one other thing you need as well.
A well-thrown ball.
Exactly right. You have a guy who has some precision in throwing the football because of the timing of the route.
From the red zone now, Vic. He's got Thompson here, complete. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Give him 8 on the play, and it'll be a second down.
Watch tight end. Key him. Key the tight end.
They'll hand it out, guys. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. They give him 2 yards there as they're set up now with a first and goal.
Exactly what they needed right there because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game.
Check, 93's the mic, 93's the mic.
Guys, stay in situation. Let's go.
He had a quick little spin move, but the door shut fast as he's dropped. That'll be a pickup of 5 on the keeper. It's second down.
Some good strong running right there. Some power and some explosiveness just about got him into the...
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. Chris Thompson, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Redskins have made this a one-score game. Extra point good by Hopkins. And that'll make our score 14-7. This game back within a touchdown now as the kickoff's away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And now out come the Giants.
Watch the whip.
Gun! Detroit!
Check, 53.
The drive begins with a handoff to Gallman. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute
Detroit!
warning.
Detroit!
Let's see if they do it anyway. To throw, McNabb. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to East Rutherford, but first this timeout.
All right, now, Lucky 56. Lucky 56. Black 99 Philly. Here we go.
We got 3.
All right, now, Lucky 56. Lucky 56. Gun, gun. Gun, gun.
On 1st and 10, McNabb. Wide open receiver complete. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. Great move, but still wrangled before reaching the 20. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Detroit! No. Check. Patriot!
From the gun, here's McNabb. Caught right side, Tate. And now we're going to get a timeout called by the Redskin defense, as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. The Giants on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 9.
All right, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
You.
Out of the gun, McNabb. He's got his man. This is Tate. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. The Redskins looking for another timeout, and they get it, as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. And the kick by Rosas is good. And they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. Still a little bit of time left here in the second quarter, but they do get 3 before the half and expand that lead.
And they have to be happy about that. And we haven't met a team yet that doesn't put an emphasis on trying to get points on the board in the last 2 minutes of a half. They'll be real excited to have those up on the board.
The Redskins offense now, they get set to take over here. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
First down, Vic. Looking right sideline, that's complete. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half.
Check hot route. Hot.
White 20.
51's the
Hey, let's go black you now. Salt.
You better be afraid of me.
On 1st and 10, here's Vic. And that's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left.
Hey, let's
After
go.
the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts, as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. So they'll come up after the incompletion for second down.
Watch 7.
Alpha.
Check butt set. Sponge.
Scat.
Go.
Base 52.
Kill. Turn it up.
Orange.
Turn it up.
Eagle. Right.
From the gun, Vic.
I got him, man. I got him. He's mine.
That's caught inside the 20.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. So we've reached halftime here at MetLife Stadium with the Giants out in front. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach, forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. That's fielded in the end zone. Nifty move. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was as he'll only get back to the 16-yard line. Out comes the Redskin offense now as they get set to begin another possession. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is. Right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. They're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. 16 yards right off the bat and a first down.
And another thing that makes a comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Double. Eagle.
He's mine.
A first down throw coming for Vic. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders. Hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or...
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone, and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards.
Mike 51. Pick it up, guys. Pick it up.
They'll go option to the short side. And he probably should have given that one off as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line.
And on this play, the read for the quarterback was the defensive end, and he was totally focused on the quarterback. He should have given it off inside to the running back. Instead, he kept it and ended up taking a loss on the play.
Eagle. Alpha. Alpha.
Right here.
Eagle.
On third down, Vic.
It's just me and you.
Now he'll let this one go deep right sideline. So they took a shot there on third down, couldn't get it. Now it's 4.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice, getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
And a bit of a mistake there. This is well into the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Giants offense now getting set to start the third quarter. They have the lead here. Well, we talk a lot about pregame speeches. What are halftime speeches like?
For the most part, not nearly as emotional. They're a lot more clinical. Every now and then, though, they'll get after you if they think they need to light a fire. But in this case, let's go into the virtual locker room, because here's what I think happened. They got in there and they said, listen, let's take control right away. Defense, we got the lead. Defense, don't give up any points. Turn the ball back over to the offense and let them go down and score and give us more of a cushion in the game. Check so far. Defense shut them down. Let's see if the offense gets done.
This quarterback now, pretty amazing. 14 of 16 throwing the ball. It's 1st and 2. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32.
Sometimes with the running game, you just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Gun!
Mike. Rip right.
McNabb to throw. escaping the pressure right. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. Third down. He was waving his arms, wanted the football, but he dropped it. And that reminds me of a story you told me from your days at Tennessee. We don't need to mention the other guy's name, but when he dropped an open pass that you blew coverage on, what did you say to him?
Yeah, it's really not right since I blew coverage, but since he dropped the pass, I said, well, maybe next time he'll just walk it out here and hand it to you. Would that be easier? He wasn't real thrilled with that answer.
That's cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
53 is the mic. 53 is the mic. He's scared. Hey, I got
Detroit! Detroit!
Now McNabb. Throw left side, complete to Ingram. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
A look at Washington as they come onto the field. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and pull something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
Spins past him. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line. They may want to go back to that one. First play of the drive, good for 15 and a first down.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of their yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
Now a play fake here on first down. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. And that one good for 16, and the drive will continue.
As if he didn't have enough to think about on that route, the comeback route, coming back to the football and catching it, decided to make sure he toe tapped and kept himself in bounds.
And that was spectacular, but on the comeback route, it'll be a little easier to deal with the sideline since you've got better vision of it.
I think that's a great point because you should know exactly where you're going and know how much space you have and make sure you get your feet down. But yeah, coming back to the football, I like it. Good vision.
They still can't get him. But I think the ball's out. But this will fortunately wind up out of bounds. He turned that into a nice gain. Gets him 8 yards closer for third down. By the way, third quarter now in Cincinnati as we take a look at the NFL scoreboard. And the Ravens have opened things up there. Remember to keep an eye on the ticker, of course, at the bottom of your screen for updates on that game and others around the NFL. He can run for it, and he will. And he is going to get the first down as he covers up after a pretty good shot there. Give him 4 yards as he does it himself, and it's a first down.
Eagle.
They'll try to throw it here. Vic. Flush to his right. Now Vic stripped. He lost the football. And who's got it? The Giants. And maybe that one caused by the weather. Of course, the rain coming down. Charles, can you maybe, when you're carrying that football, grip it too tight in the rain?
I think that you can, and it's such a delicate balance, too, because when you grip it so tight, sometimes it'll slip out from your body. You squeeze it too hard, and it'll pop out on its own. I've actually had running backs talk to me about that. And when they try too hard, even in perfect conditions, the ball gets away from them. They've got to find that good balance, carrying it firmly, yet at the same time under control.
And all the way in. Touchdown, New York. A big play there. With 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Giants add on to their lead. PAT up and good by Rosas. And that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17. Rosas now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. The Redskins offense now, they head back onto the field. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
That, don't you?
All game long, they struggled moving the ball, turning it over on the last possession. Is that word again, symptomatic?
Yeah.
I like that.
Your analysis, symptomatic of the success of this broadcast.
What I like is that you gave me the word, and I just kept using it.
He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with second and yard. Here's Vic. Now he's forced out left. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. And that one results in 35 yards.
Hey, we got 4. We got 4 down. 4 down.
Alpha. Eagle.
From the shotgun, it's Vic. Being chased out left. And he'll avoid the tackle there with a slide. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you.
You just saw a year's subscription to your favorite magazine.
Eagles 44.
Oh, spinning away. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
And that was a nice, strong run by the guy they call the field general.
51's Mike. Mike's 51. Come to my world. We want it. Come to my
world.
And now he'll take the run. And they'll get him down here at about the 5-yard line. Only a yard on the keeper, and it'll be second down.
And as we've seen throughout this season, it's no picnic trying to score touchdowns against this unit. They're ranked #1 against the run. But it's also difficult.
And down he goes. Pressure gets him back at the 14. Marcus Golden. He's the one that got to him. He takes him down for a loss of 9. They gotta have 6 here. It's 3rd and goal.
Orange.
That is right.
Lion. 300.
4 down.
Orange.
Now this time they'll throw it with Vic. Flushed out right. This is caught. Give him 13 yards on the connection, but not enough. 4th down.
Completed pass brings up a 4th down situation. Do you play analytics on this one? Well, what do your analytics tell you about going for it here? I wonder what they would say.
They tell me you're down by this margin 4th quarter. You're going. And a field goal obviously means nothing here. They're going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down. They come out here in the eye. They'll run for it. Geis. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. Darius Geis, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Redskins are able to close the gap just a bit. Here's Hopkins now for the extra point. Hopkins with the extra point, and the lead down to 10, 24-14. So the lead back down to 10 as things get a little more interesting, and the kick is away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. The Giants offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. And they hit the home run last drive. One play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description because when we talk about hitting a home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball. But how about them just taking it big time, John? Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run game, the play-action pass could very well be open.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12.
Gun!
Hey, guys, check me out.
2nd down, McNabb. And a quick throw here, that's complete. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
3 down. Hey, check.
Hot!
3 down. Check nickel.
And he is going to lose yardage here. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal
Green,
kicker.
39!
I'm like the old
39!
rule. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it, get the first down, close it out.
Now it's 1st and 10 after a costly penalty there on 4th down.
3 down.
On the ground, it's Gallman again. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Washington territory. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on 2nd down.
Detroit!
And they'll run it here. And he's going to be met at about the 43. A 3-yard pickup on 2nd and 4. Now they'll need to convert here on 3rd and a little more than a yard.
Run! Oh, yeah! Double tight. Hey. We got 3.
No. Check.
And on the ground they go with a running back. 3 yards there, good enough to keep the drive moving.
I've got an idea. Let's skip racing to the airport at the end of this game. Let's go to the post-game press conference. I have a feeling that the quarterback of this winning team is going to be given a whole lot of credit to the running game and the offensive line.
Yeah, I was just going to say the offensive line, yes, carrying the ball has been key, but those guys up front, they've made a lot of space. Time for a break. We'll come back and see this one out after this. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10.
Leopard!
We got
Now they're on the right side here. And little room to maneuver there. He gets it down to about the 39. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game. So 2nd and 9, and you'd have to figure just about all 11 probably crashing the line here. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And they're able to get this this one past the 30 to the 25-yard line. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to do damage during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. Down to a knee here. The defense still with a couple of timeouts. We'll see if they want to use them. The Redskins looking for another timeout, and they get it. As he'll stop it with 27 seconds showing on the clock. So they need 6 yards here on third down. They're 2 for 2 on third down tries so far on this drive. And the Giants will kneel it here out of the victory formation. The Redskins going to go ahead and use their final timeout as they get it with 26 seconds to go in the football game. And Rosas pulled it. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is.
I tell you, it's not easy kicking field goals in the best of conditions. You add in a downpour like we're in right now, it makes it that much harder. And sure enough, they can't convert here.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
Tight end, watch tight end. Tight right, tight right. 4 down, check.
Alpha, alpha. Alpha, alpha.
Hey, if you kill it, motion.
Lake.
51's the mic, boy.
Alpha, alpha. Wait.
Vic.
Hey, you don't want to see me.
And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. A really nice gain of 25 yards. Working the sideline there. Good route, good catch. First down, and he gets out of bounds.
Yeah, you have to like the play calling because you have to run some guys down the middle of the field to draw some of the defenders away. They can't just let them guard the sideline exclusively. That's how it's going to work. Sidelines and incompletions to use the clock.
Get him.
Orange.
Now Michael Vick.
Push him back.
On the comebacker, complete. That's Thompson. And he is into the end zone for the touchdown. So they still need a miracle with a clock where it's at, but they get one piece to the puzzle done.
Still have hope.
Coming from where they were, they knew this was going to be tough, but they got the touchdown. Now they need the miracle, the onside kick and a little extra.
Yeah, and you have to get the onside kick and not have the ball bounce around a lot and eat up time. You want to be able to grab it, possess it, and get your offense out there for what you just termed a miracle chance.
They had to go for it with no timeouts remaining, though, now. This one's as good as over.
They gave it an effort. They tried their best, did everything they could to try and get the ball on the onside kick. You're exactly right. They had to try it. It was their only option. And now this game is done. Just take it, kneel, and call it a day.
Double tight. 3 down.
And the Giants will kneel it here out of the victory formation. Well, Charles, the forecast called for rain throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast ahead of time? Are you one of those guys that's skeptical about it, or did you trust it?
But when I saw just a big blob of green on the radar, I said, okay, let's trust.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you took my advice. Got your notes laminated, because, you know, open-air booth, that rain can affect us as well, although not as much as the guys on the field. But let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch these types of games, isn't it?
It is. By the way, how impressive is it that you travel with a laminator? I didn't even know there was a portable laminator.
The things that you learn.
Golly, wise beyond his years. So for the Giants, they boost their record up to a strong 4-1. And they will hit the road next week for a date with the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, for Washington, the downward spiral continues as they drop to 0-6 now. And they'll be off to Minneapolis next week for a look at new U.S. Bank Stadium and a date with the Vikings. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.